This is Levi from Miss May I, and you're listening to Dale Stotler and the boys from Vulgar Display of Podcast.
Welcome to the Vulgar Display of Podcast. Got the boys in the house, Dale, Mike, Anthony.
Hey.
Yo.
Hey.
And I know Dale's excited. We're all excited about this. Online right now, we have Levi from Miss May I. Levi, how are you?
I'm good, man. It's Friday. Can't be any better.
Yes. Good call.
It's the weekend here and there.
It's more like Christmas for me, but yeah, we'll call it Friday.
And we mentioned off air, we kind of teased Dale about it, but Dale has almost, a half-arm tattoo of Miss May I?
Half sleeve of Miss May I. Got the logo, the lion, and then a big MMI right under it.
Oh, dude, that's amazing.
Yep. Like I said, to say I'm a fan, it's a stretch. Been loving you guys since Apologies Are for the Week from 09.
Oh, OG.
OG, triple OG, yeah. Architect. We like our second episode we ever did. We all picked our top three favorite breakdowns, and my all-time favorite breakdown is Architect.
Oh man, thank you. We're playing that on the headliner coming up. So.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Hey, you're going to be in St. Louis on the 1st. You kick off the tour in our city, and I will be there without a doubt.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was one of the
a new venue for us too. I've never been to the Red Flag.
Yeah, Red Flag Suite. And I was going to ask you that in this interview if you guys were going to play Architects. So, again,
there it is.
I mean, it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, and you guys actually came through in March, and Dale was there at that one as well with All That Remains at Pops.
Yep.
How was that tour for you guys?
It was awesome, man. The craziest thing was just coming back from the pandemic. Like the whole perspective and just the energy was so different in a good way. Not that it was bad before, but like we're just... And I know everyone across the board, any type of work was just grateful to have that back. It's not that we ever really took it for granted, but when it was taken away, you sort of realized how awesome it was. And just being back on tour was awesome. And like just being with the guys. And the coolest thing was taking all the time off. You would think and assume people would I don't know, because you don't see people for 2 years. You think they're gone, and then it's like, you're playing these shows and they're huge shows. It's like you didn't even miss a beat. It's like it never even happened. It was crazy.
Right. And y'all came out killing it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes.
When you hear about Miss May I, you always hear the thing about, you guys started playing when you were in high school. And now we're so many years removed from that to where you guys are sort of some of the OGs on the road. And now you're taking out younger bands. What has that whole sort of experience been like for you guys?
Man, it's surreal. It's surreal, and it makes you feel like time goes by so fast.
It does, too.
Now some of the opening bands, it's like, oh, I learned guitar from Apologies for the Week. That was the first song I ever played, and you're like, what is happening? Or like the real surreal one is meeting like fans at meet and greets that are 12 or 13, and their parents bring them, or they come by themselves, and they're like, my parents raised me on you guys. I've been like my whole life I've been listening. I'm like, wait a sec. And I do the math. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The entire life we've been in this band.
Yes.
This is crazy.
But hey, that's also how you were brought into it as well, right? Because your mom was a huge metalhead. I even read you said that your mom was a bigger metalhead than you and took you to an Ozfest.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And now I get to play with like bands I saw at that. And I get to introduce my mom. And my mom's like, I raised them on your stuff. And I'm like, Mom, this is my homie now.
Yeah.
That's great.
This is the homie we're on tour with. Yeah.
Yeah, and even that all that remains, I'm sure you guys are influenced by that sort of Boston sound of Kill Switch Engage and All That Remains, and even Shadows Fall and those bands like that. And now you're touring with them. I'm sure you have sort of like pinch yourself moments at times.
Oh, all the time. I think, yeah, it's just it's really surreal because that's like a dream, and then it's sort of it's crazy too because when everything's happening, you're touring nonstop and doing albums, you're just playing shows like. You don't really realize it, and then you get home and like the dust settles and you're looking at like your Kill Switch tour pass and you're like, what just happened?
Like we just played with Kill Switch Engage. Yeah, I was at that one. Pops in St. Louis years ago as well with you guys.
Oh, it was so good. There's a story on that tour that was funny. It was like, well, their bus broke down while we were in Salt Lake City, and they needed a ride. So then they rode on our bus, and we were like, their Kill Switch is hitching a ride from us. And I'm like, what is going on?
Kill Switch is riding in our bus.
I'm like, yeah, like, hey guys, we need a ride. I'm like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah, Kill Switch, hop on the bus real quick, no problem.
Yeah, in the mornings you're like waking up and everyone's like sleeping on the couches and they're just like finding something. You're like, yeah,
morning, Jesse.
So exactly, it's crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's so, and that there's like been a bunch of those times, and it's cool though. Like, I'm happy that I enjoy those moments and that I'm not like jaded or
sure.
to look at them at like at a different perspective. Like, to me, I think I'll always be a fanboy. I still freak out. Like, my wife got to work with In Flames for like 5 years, and every time she was hanging out with them and like working with them, we're cool and like shake hands and like, yeah, what's up? And I'm just losing my mind.
Oh, right.
Like, this is the coolest thing
ever. Yeah, like because you're a fan of the metal.
Yeah.
You know, when you were touring while you guys were still in high school or whenever you guys could fit it in, you know, do you ever feel like that bands treated you different, or even promoters or venues, or they didn't take you as serious as maybe you guys took yourselves? Do you ever feel like there was a little bit of backlash with that?
Oh yeah, it was definitely really hard because, especially, I don't know what happened, but like we came up a little after like the Parada and Atreyu, As I Dying thing, and so like, and Under Oath and all them. So, but when we came up, it was with a lot of the there was like the scene was happening, but we were like packaged as that because that's what we looked like, and that was the age and the style of clothes we were wearing. But like, all our inspirations were Black Dahlia Murder or As Blood Runs Black, Also Perish, and like we wanted to play heavier stuff. And yeah, it was definitely hard because all these bands like we wanted to tour with wouldn't take us seriously. Like,
sure.
And then I'm looking in the mirror and there's no facial hair, and I'm like 5 feet, and I'm like, right. I understand. I'm like, but trust us.
But did that give you more motivation to go up there and go even harder to show them like we belong in this scene?
Oh yeah, especially like when it's like our first tour, we were the only legible logo. Like, every other logo was like a black metal logo, and I'm like,
we have that discussion
every
a lot.
night, and we're sandwiched in between. Yeah, it's hard. We're sandwiched in between all those bands, and we're like 10 years younger than everybody else. And I'm just like, and that first tour we weren't even old enough to be in some of the venues. Like, they had to escort us in to play, and they escorted us out, and it was just like, it was so hard. Yeah, it was like running in water. But but it was also the best too, because you appreciate it, because then you do kill the show or you do awesome, and it's just like, you sort of earn your stripes. So right. And I'm happy it wasn't just like handed to us.
Sure, absolutely.
And the name as well. It's not your typical metal name. You know, it's not like Death Fist Fucker.
Yeah, right. I know. It's all proper. It's like, it's Miss May I. It's like all proper, and then say your fucking prayers. I'm like, bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're cursed. I know. Not that I don't like our name, but it's like,
I hope you do. I got it tattooed on me forever, Levi.
No. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's like an oxymoron, because I feel like when people, and you know what's funny is I always compare it to like Lamb of God, because like everyone associates Lamb of God with, obviously we know what they are. Yes. But if you just read it and you know, and you're just like the everyday person who's never heard the band, it's such an innocent name. Right. So I'm like, that's always been like our inspiration. We're just like, hey, at least like they get the point across, like so we can do it too. So.
It's amazing how many churches have used Lamb of God's logo on like their program and shit.
Yes. Yeah, and so we actually have a few personal connections with you that we weren't aware of until we kind of started doing our research here. But you guys recorded your first EP and maybe even album at Burning Bridge Records in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
Joel from Burning Bridges, I was in a band that nobody knew, nobody cared about, but we recorded there as well. I want to say maybe 2005, 6, something like that.
Yeah, it was around that time.
It was around the same time, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then I know, like Job for a Cowboy recorded there as well, and Haste the Dead.
That's why we went,
It was Job for a Cowboy,
Yeah, because Job for the Cowboy recorded there. That's why you guys went?
Yeah, we did, because at that time I was just on MySpace, like doing a lot of research, and I was like doing a lot of research on like what was going on and everything. Like, obviously we're just like kids, but the Doom album came out, and which was just like a game changer. And then that was the first time I ever heard like 808s or anything. So I did all the research. I'm like, who did this? Like, and then it was Indiana. I'm like, guys, we
Let's
were in
road
high school,
trip.
so I was like, we can drive to Indiana. Yeah, I'm like, that's
Far
close
from Ohio.
enough. It's not LA.
Yeah, it's not far from Troy, Ohio.
Another interesting sort of few degrees of separation. Sean Keith from, Sharp Tone.
Yeah.
He played in a band, of course he's from St. Louis. He played in a band called Calico System. And when my band, when I was 18, we toured with them. We went on a summer tour together. And so we became really close friends. And so that's another degree of separation. Plus, my cousin, Ben Schulte, I think ran sound for you, like on tour.
He was the best man at my wedding.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking weird?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's your cousin?
Yeah, he's my cousin. Well, by marriage, she's my wife's first cousin. Yeah.
But you guys played in several bands together.
Yeah, Ben was my singer in my band.
Yeah.
Went on
Holy
tour
shit.
with Calico System. So that's an interesting. This all hit us at once earlier, and we were like, "Holy shit, that's so weird."
Levi, don't be
small
surprised, if we just show up at your house now that we know you're best man.
Family reunion, guys. I'll see you there. Man.
Hey, and speaking of the record label, you got an album coming out September 2nd, Curse of Existence, out on Sharp Tone Records. You want to tell us a little bit about the record?
Yeah. So this was like not our pandemic record, but we were set to release this right before the pandemic, or not this album, but I go into the studio, and it really, the reason the Curse of Existence was we like sort of, when it got pushed and everything was paused. I know everybody. I can't just. It's not like a personal thing, because I know, which is interesting. Is like everybody just went through like a really dark time during the pandemic, and really like a lot of reflection time. So that really got poured into this album. And the cool thing was there was so much time to this album, and everyone had so much to say that it's probably the most collaborative album we've written. Like everyone wanted a chance to say something or write something that they've sort of been on the back burner for a while. And yeah, the title was just sort of a summary of everything we were going through. Because this album, man, this album, it caps off of everything being like, it talks about the pandemic and those emotions, but then we also have like two of us went through fatherhood. We had a divorce. We had like jobs getting like it was, we were going through the ringer doing this album. It's really cool because it's a really big reflection of just our last 5 years. And then another cool thing was just how therapeutic it was, because we sort of came in the studio for the first time. We've always been like an uplifting metal band, which that was our message. But like we went to Will Putney for the first time, and he read the lyrics, and we're like, sent him the demos, and he's like, guys, you need to lighten up. Like, people do not want to. It was just such a dark, like, bummer of an album, and it was just because we couldn't find inspiration other than that. Like, I couldn't, even the deepest I did, like, dug into myself, and everyone else was just like, just not a good time. And then it was cool though, because Will loved the songs, and he was like, go back and like write it like you used to write it, or write it like you're here now, that this stuff will end, like write the resolution. And that was like a big therapeutic just homework assignment for me, because I had to go back through all and not only me, but like the other guys had to go back and relive why we wrote that song and be like, okay, how am I going to overcome this? And then the whole album is about how all those things are real, and we had to like change our perspective on how we would overcome them, and changing that perspective and rewriting them made us overcome them. It was really cool.
Yeah, Levi, I've got a question about your writing process. So it's not often that we interview bands where there's basically two singers. So how does that dynamic work for Miss May I, and how does that affect the writing process, lyrics, and all that stuff?
Yeah, so it is a little difficult. We definitely butt heads sometimes. But how we do it, so it's sort of grown since our first album. So it used to be Ryan didn't really want a part in that, and I would write him. And then I sort of didn't want him to have a part either, because I didn't want to like have someone just jump in for 2 sentences of this whole emotion I'm trying to portray, because it's just sort of out of context. So then it started as like he would just jump in, and then in the next album he was like, well, explain to me what you're writing, and I'll try and help. So it's like the trying to help, and then, hey, I have like I understand. Let me add my little point. And then probably on Shadows Inside and Curse of Existence, that's when we sort of opened up to where people started speaking up, not only Ryan, but like Justin, especially as well, was just like, hey, I want to say this. I wrote these lyrics. Like, let's try to incorporate this. And then that is so probably the last 2 albums that they all started writing collaboratively. But the first 5 albums was just me doing lyrics, and I'd be like, hey, here's the part I wrote for you to sing. And it was like, cool, let me play that part. It wasn't like an emotional thing. But I think having everyone emotionally attached to it, you can just really feel it on the newer albums.
I'm going to quote you here. On Earthshaker, your first single off the record, you said, everyone out there has reached their breaking point where enough is enough and time comes to make a change. Mm. And is that a theme that's sort of reoccurring throughout the record? I know you can definitely feel it in that song, but it seemed like there was sort of this, breaking element to that song and some of the music. Yeah,
it definitely is a reoccurring. It is a reoccurring theme, because before going to the studio, a few of us, not just solo, I can't just say myself, but a few of us reached some really dark breaking points, and yeah, it's cool because that's not really who we are. So to sort of, you don't know how light it is and how nice it is until you like sort of reach the darkest points. And I think that was something we all helped each other through. But yeah, it definitely is sprinkled throughout the album, because that's what we were going through. It's an honest album. Like, we've always been an honest band, and that's it was, and we're still some of us are still going through stuff post, like, the storm has yet to pass. So but it's cool. This has definitely helped, and the album's helped, and now that it's out, like, we've had the album for 2 years, so I'm like, I've heard it a million times, so I'm excited for other people to hear it.
I'm ready to hear it a million times. I said I'm ready to hear it a million times.
Now, the people that have always just known you as Levi, how did they react when you started to appear on, say, like, magazine covers and big websites?
Man, from being from like our little small town, it was it's a huge accomplishment. Like, I don't know, it's surreal. I think even now it's surreal. Like, even though we've done these magazines and done multiple things, it's still surreal, I think, because we're not like, we don't put the rock star front on, like,
right,
or the
right.
band front on.
You don't thrive for that. They come to you about it. You guys don't just go looking for it.
Yeah, exactly. And like when we're not on stage, and like anyone who's ever met us, we're just like, we are just normal dudes, and like that's what we try to like portray. Because like, we're not even portray. That's like what we try. Because the whole message of not letting it get to our heads or not letting it be something it's not is that we're just normal dudes doing something really crazy. Mm-hmm. And so that means you're a normal person. You could do something crazy. Like, we're just trying to inspire people. Like, you can do anything. Like, this is crazy. Like, we're just average guys. Like, right. It's just crazy. People showed up and liked the songs.
Oh, yeah. A listener can sniff out phoniness a mile away.
Yes, and just in your live presence and your lyrics and your interviews, everything. Yes, you can see it's real.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, we've always just tried to be real, and I think that's why we're still like the original members. It's still the
and since high school, yeah, and like you said in another interview, you guys have grown together. You've had marriages, kids, families. Like, you've literally grown as friends and a family your whole life together in this band.
Yeah, we're all brothers. We all got licenses together. We all went to the bar the first time together. We all, like, everything we've ever done has been like together as a family. It's
amazing.
But I think that's what's like cool. And now doing this so long, and like hearing about your sleeve and meeting these fans that we've been around longer than they've been alive. Like, we would never have thought we'd make it that far, but like, it's just humbling to see how much it inspires and sort of like has done rippled waves that we would have never. That wasn't our intent. We just wanted to hang out as 5 friends and jam
and play metal.
People started listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely helped me a lot in my life in my darkest times, and I've been with you guys since day one and love the shit out of Ms. May I.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That means so much.
Yeah.
With you guys playing together for as many years as you have, I'm sure that helps with the cohesiveness of when you guys jam and play songs. I mean, is there like a sort of a nonverbal communication that you guys have, the sort of thing that you can look at each other and talk without actually talking?
Oh man, it is even beyond that. We have Jedi forces with each other. It's seriously, it's crazy, because we've had our fair share of fill-ins, and it feels like you could feel that person just standing there, and you're like, who is this person in the machine that's just like part of, like, because to like we sort of turn into like one unit when we walk on stage, and like we always talk about and it's really weird because we all have the same experience, but it's like we sort of like black out. Like I don't really remember the shows until we're off stage, but when we all go on there, we like turn into like one unit. And then like when we have a fill-in, something happened where somebody can't come to a show and somebody plays a part, it's like there's the unit, and then you're like, oh, then there's this guy with us. Like he's doing great, but he's not like
just not he's not one
part of like the ecosystem that we have like created over the years. I know Ryan's with As Lay Dying right now. But I was gonna ask like we would never start. I don't know. I would never like start another band from like, it would just feel weird to jam with other people because like that's 95% of it for me is just the guys, like
that brotherhood. So how does it feel to represent Ohio's metal scene, like y'all carrying the torch with other bands like Chimera, like Devil Wears Prada, Beartooth, and then now one band that we love, 200 Stab Wounds?
Dude, I just, I'm just honored because like I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but it was never like really our intent. It was it's just surreal, like to be put on that like pedestal inside, and it's surreal, but it's also like very humbling, and like it sort of takes a lot of the weight off of our shoulders because I feel like the first 10 years you're like in this rat race to where there's not really there's no finish line, and then out of nowhere you hit this point to where it's like, oh, you're one of like the classics there, and you're like, whoa, okay, you're like, I don't have to do this race really because they consider me this. You're like, it's like a fresh breath of air,
right? Like when you Google Ohio heavy metal, bam, you like see Miss May I atop of it. Oh yeah, and I'm like, fucking right.
It's so weird. One of my favorites is there's metal classics of the 2000s.
Please tell me you're on it.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's like Metallica, like Slayer, like songs that you hear on the radio 1,000 times, and like we got put in there as like a classic song of that like decade. And I'm like, what?
Do you remember the song?
Is Hey Mister.
Oh, cool! It's a great one, banger.
Like a classic,
yeah.
That's it's just, but see, that stuff you don't know when you're writing it and you're jamming. You're like, this is cool, and then it goes out to the masses, and then that's when it's really fun because you see how it like
the fan reaction. Yeah.
Are you? And we talk about, not to go on like a tangent, but like we did an album with Terry Date, and I asked him probably like, he probably got sick of me asking him, but I'm like, so you didn't know that Cowboys from Hell was going to be that sick when you were recording it? He's like, no, we were just recording. I'm like, how did you not know?
Right, you did not see it.
Everything.
Yeah, you were changing the game.
I think I'd be the same way, just like question after question. He's like, we got to work here.
I just want to pick your brain. Yeah,
he would tell me the answer, and I just wasn't satisfied. I'm like, okay, but how did you? I'm like, tell me again how you didn't know.
Speaking of Cowboys from Hell, how do you feel about Pantera reuniting?
Oh man, I think I'm obviously happy. I think it'll be very cool to watch, but I don't think it's obviously never going to be the same, but it's a real bummer that the brothers aren't going to be part of it. Cause I think I just hope there's no drunken craziness and it's not a money grab. I hope it's like a real genuine Pantera fan, like, cause I think it could go both ways. Either way,
easy, yeah.
I will show up and watch it.
Same. I'm going to go. I'm all pumped for it.
The right reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of what I was saying is obviously not the Pantera we want, but it's all we have left. So,
like our buddy Jay here had said before, they went and watched fucking Leonard Skinner, and there was no one left in Skinner, but hey, they're playing Skinner music. So it's
Exactly. And that's what you got to like, and you just hope it's for, and that's me being sentimental and old now. I'm just like, hey, I just hope it's for the right reason, because I've seen so many other train wrecks happen. So.
Yeah.
Hey Levi, what type of bucket list type situations related to Miss May I have you been able to like cross off?
You know what's so funny? Our first bucket list where I thought we made it, it was like not doing the deal or doing anything like that. It was getting road cases. I remember when we got road cases, I was like,
it's real.
We fucking made it, man. Yeah, this is it. Like, we don't have to try anymore. Like, we have cases for our guitars to show up to shows.
Nice.
That was like our first bucket list. I remember where I was, like in the garage when they showed up from the mail. It's like, we're a real band. So that was our first bucket list. But like, I don't know. I think one really big one that stands out for us as a band, maybe me more than the rest of the guys, because I just understand like more how like the business and stuff works, because I'm just in the weeds of that, is like when we got to the cover of Alternative Press, that was like a really big deal.
Definitely.
Because it wasn't a metal album or a metal like magazine.
Yeah, it wasn't Revolver or anything.
Yeah, it's an alternative. Like you can be Sleeping with Sirens, Paramore, like it was like the real music, like it was everyone's music scene. And like when they gave us, not only did they give us the cover, but we got to headline the AP tour that year. Was like, that was just a huge thing of, because my biggest thing for our band has been to like push the boundaries of like, cool, we're a metal band, but like everyone's a metal band. Like what can we do like differently? And that's why we would always take tours with like weird bands, because I want to just sort of see where we could take it. And that was like a big accomplishment, was just gracing the cover of that was crazy. And then, man, other bucket list one, all the bands we've toured with, I've pretty much, that's sort of how it goes, is every album we get to like, we talk about touring, and we're slowly just checking off like all of our favorite bands. Like there's probably only like a handful of bands we haven't got to tour with, and I'm very thankful for that.
What about your video Forgive and Forget being on Headbangers Ball back in the day?
Oh, dude, that was
another bucket list.
That was seeing that was when I knew I needed tattoos. I was anti-tattoo until I was on it.
Time to sleeve up. We're on Headbangers Ball. We got a rep here.
Yep. I'm like, okay, we're legit. Because I'm telling you, I was such a prude. I was like, we did the first album. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not that I'm like a super realistic person, because I'm like very ambitious and I like to do crazy stuff. But I was in the realistic point of like, yeah, but people couldn't like the album, or but it could only be like a 1 month thing. And then, when it came out on Headbangers Ball and like we started picking up traction, it was just like, I think I am going to get tattooed. I think this is what we're really going to do. I think like people take us seriously, because it was still, we had a record deal in high school, like college was still on the table. It was like, oh, you could do your first 2 tours and you still can get back in time to go to college. So it was like, let's just see how it works. And it took off, and I'm like, okay, where's the tattoo shop?
Time to cut the sleeves off my shirt and put the sleeves on my arms.
Exactly, dude. We went all out.
We've kind of all heard that story of like Travis Barker got the neck tattoo, and he was like, it's either this or not,
Nothing.
So it's like, it was sort of his commitment to the lifestyle, I guess, or to not going back to that 9-to-5 cubicle kind of thing. Yeah.
And we were on so the stress of us wanting to get tattoos and just wanting to take this full time was hard, because we were so young at the point. Like our parents signed our deal for us, so it's like you show up to this freaking meeting and like we're all sitting next to our parents, and then there's the record label, so you don't feel cool at all.
No,
nothing's cool.
I don't know. My mom co-signed for a car for me. Signing a record label's pretty cool.
Well, the whole time they're there, it's like, this is like the MySpace days, so our parents are like, wait, you don't want to go to college? And I'm like, yeah, but my MySpace is huge. I'm like, these are real people. These numbers are real. And
I
they're
got
like,
1,000 followers here, Mom.
Exactly. And that was like the beginning of social, like nobody was making money on social media at that time. So it was just all like it was like the Wild West. I'm like, these are real people. Like if we go to these cities, like there's 50,000 people that know our band. And it's just like, yeah, but it's just a number on a screen. You're like,
no, it's not.
I know, but maybe it'll happen.
They sent me a message last night, Mom.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, that was really hard, because you just had like parents that are like, I don't want you to make a mistake, and you're like, I don't want to make a mistake either. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah. We all figured it out.
So this is the Vulgar Display, a podcast. We're joined here by Levi from Miss May I. We cannot wait to catch you September 1st, the day before the new record comes out, which is crazy. Like
all the stars have aligned for this.
We got to stay up till midnight and get the record, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to get to you guys early.
That would be
awesome.
appreciated more than you know. Get the album, see you guys on the 1st, then it release on the 2nd. Like I said, all these stars are aligned.
So we're going to be catching you September 1st at St. Louis at the Red Flag with Mike Judy Productions. Shout out Mike Judy. You're going on tour with Currents, Kingdom of Giants, Landmark. So we cannot wait. We're going to be there in the house. And then we're also, the next day, are staying up to midnight. And we're going to catch that new album, Curse of Existence, out on Sharptone Records the day after the St. Louis show, September 2nd. So you want to give out your socials and everywhere they can get your music?
Yeah. Check it out at missmayimusic.com. And then all our socials are Miss May I Band. And we're very active. We're on there all the time. The tour's going to be awesome. Cannot wait to get back out there.
Yeah, we can't wait either.
And you're pretty much going most of the country on this tour and running through the end of October, maybe middle of October. And you're covering a lot of ground in that short of time. So And you guys stay pretty busy, you know, when you're out there touring and on the road. So kudos to you guys for being road dogs. And we can't wait to catch us September 1st at Red Flag in St. Louis. And we're going to get that new album out September 2nd, Curse of Existence. Levi, we appreciate your time today, man.
Yes, thank you, Levi.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of bucket list, this is definitely one off mine, and I appreciate your time very much, Levi.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. I can't wait to see you guys on the 1st.
Hell yeah. Stay metal.
Stay metal, brother.
Yep.